Is the comfort zone holding you back? It's a very interesting question to ask yourself. Perhaps a little confronting, especially if you know that it is holding you back. In fact, it is holding all of us back to a certain extent with any goal we set. Although the more goals we achieve, the more confident we may become in our own abilities to succeed, so the comfort zone won't hold us back nearly as often or as much as it used to. But what are we getting at? Well, whenever you set a new goal for yourself, odds are it's going to be a little uncomfortable at first. I'll give you a few examples. This channel, when I started it out, it was actually a little uncomfortable for me to make this kind of content because it was so different than what I used to do for a couple years on YouTube with some other channel I had. And that was sort of something I had to go through. I had to decide for myself, is it worth paying this price? Is it worth going through this initial phase of being uncomfortable? What was I uncomfortable about? Well, there's numerous things you can be uncomfortable about when going for your dream, and usually it ties into worrying about what other people might think of it. You're afraid of failing, that you look like an idiot pretty much when you go for your dream and then you make a mistake and people see that you made that mistake and they might think that's kind of weird, that's stupid, or why did you do that? And we get all these worries in our heads that are actually holding us back. They're all part of that comfort zone where we feel like, well, if I don't take the action, at least I feel comfortable. If I stay where I am right now, at least I don't feel uncomfortable. But we also know if I live like that, odds are I won't achieve more of my dreams either. Because many of the dreams are inspired in such a way to us that they create growth in our lives. So we do something new beyond what we have done before in the past. And it's growing out of this current reality that we're experiencing, out of our current comfort zone. Therefore, the comfort zone should be analyzed for each and every one of us on an individual basis, and we have to decide for ourselves, am I willing to do whatever is necessary in order for me to realize my dream? Even though at first I might be a little afraid again of what other people think of my dream, or if I feel that other people might laugh at me. Even if you have those little fears going on in the mind, are you still willing to do what needs to be done in order for you to express your dream? That is the main question that should be asked when you're dealing with your own comfort zone. So with me, I said, yes, I am willing to do whatever needs to be done in order for me to grow my own inspirational channel. So I started creating the videos and starting to speak about what I know about consciousness, and I started to actually reach a point that I don't really care about what other people think of it anymore. Of course, I read the comments, and if people have some criticism or even hate comments about it, which rarely happens so far, but I've seen a few just here and there, like only a handful, where people were just saying some rude stuff that really didn't mean anything, that didn't add anything to this channel to begin with. So I just brushed those off and ignored them altogether. With criticism, that's not a big deal for me either. Some people are like, well, you should remove the music from your videos, or it's too loud, or this or that, or just show your face instead of narrations. And I'm always like, I can see why you might prefer that, but I'm gonna keep running this channel in a way that I prefer running it, because that's important. I have to enjoy making the content that I'm making, so I'm actually willing and interested to keep going, you know what I mean? Because if I start making content that I don't enjoy making, but my subscribers would enjoy, that's kind of a bad spot to be in for me as the content creator, because then I'm doing something against what I would really want to do. So these days I'm really mindful of making videos where I feel like I want to do it in this manner for now. So showing my face, for example, I could do that in a future video, whenever that is, whenever I feel like it. But if I don't feel like it, but I do have a message to share, I do it like I do now, through a narration, because I still on purpose that way. Now with you, you're going to face such activities for yourself, where you're working on a dream, and perhaps people have suggestions that don't line up with your own dream on how you want to express it. But then, perhaps because you're in the habit of going along with what other people say, you end up doing stuff that you don't like doing. So then it's not a matter of a comfort zone being broken, then you're actually doing something that you're pretty much not supposed to be doing in that manner for yourself. That's another difference you have to realize, to have to grasp for yourself, whether it's your comfort zone that's holding you back, or whether you're actually doing something you don't want to do to begin with. It's a subtle difference, but once you grasp that difference, it becomes easier to at least step out and act on your dreams. Because if you know for sure that you're going for something that you really want, well then, if you turn that into a conviction for yourself, if you magnify that enough within your heart and soul, then it becomes easier and easier to take action on your dream and step right out of that comfort zone that might hold you back. The comfort zone ultimately is just based on what we are habitually used to doing. So if you're habitually used to living in the manner that you're living right now, then it's not that strange that if you were to go for your dream that might be absolutely huge in a different way, that it's uncomfortable because you're not yet in the habit of acting on that dream. But habits, they are created over time as you keep doing the same thing over and over again. So in that sense, if you keep acting on your dream over and over again in spite of the initial uncomfortable feelings because you're not used to it, well, over time you will become used to taking action on your dream, and it becomes a habit, and then not taking action on your dream starts to feel uncomfortable in its own way. That is the point that I have personally reached, is that at first, years ago, I would be uncomfortable making videos like this, for example, but now I'm uncomfortable if I don't make them. You see what's happening here? So if I don't make a video for over a week, which sometimes happens, I'm starting to feel more and more uncomfortable because I know I want to keep building this channel. So I gotta keep my mind open for ideas and keep acting on the video ideas I receive. Like this video idea that I'm making about the comfort zone just happened to flow into my mind again when I'm totally relaxed, just not really focusing on my YouTube, and then there they come, ideas for videos. They constantly come into my consciousness, and then I'm like, I'm gonna jot this idea down and then I'm going to record it not soon after. And that's because I'm in the habit of taking action on this dream concerning my YouTube channel. But again, I had to overcome my own initial fears, and this is where most people stop. It's that initial fear that holds them back because they can't really grasp, even though it's so obvious, but they can't entirely grasp that if they would just take action on their dream, sooner or later that taking action on that dream will become normal. It will start to feel like a normal activity for them, not so scary, not so uncomfortable any longer. So this is what we truly have to consider and grasp when we're dealing with our own comfort zone, is how it is created. It is created by the things we habitually do, that we get used to doing. So if your dream is outside of your comfort zone, it simply means it's asking you to do things that you're not used to doing. But as you keep doing them, as you become familiar with doing them, the more comfortable you become in doing them, and then, your comfort zone actually changes around. It becomes bigger or different, you could say. You become more comfortable acting on your dream instead of not acting on dreams. You become a person of purpose. You're uncomfortable not being on purpose, where the masses might actually be comfortable not being on purpose, but you are uncomfortable if you're not on purpose at that point. This is all very subtle stuff that happens inside consciousness, and is what makes the difference between the successful person and the not successful person, we could say. Even though everyone is successful in their own ways, you are currently successful in your own way, because if you're sincerely trying to work on your own dreams and make them happen, you are actually already on the path to success. And that makes you a success. You can't walk the road of success without being a success already inside your consciousness. So you should start to feel good about yourself and not let the comfort zone hold you back as much, because it doesn't have to hold you back at all. That's the fun part. It's all in the mind. You can control your own mind. Maybe you're not used to controlling the mind, but if you learn to control it, well then you'll see some magical stuff happen, like always. You'll see more and more results, and that's what we're after. We want results. We don't want to just study consciousness and never go anywhere with our lives. But if we study this sort of material, our own minds and our own comfort zones, then always have a big dream in your mind that you want to go for, and then apply the wisdom towards realizing that specific dream in question, so you actually get results. Because that's another issue people might have, is that they study the mind, but they don't have any clear-cut goals. So it's like you're studying it, you're memorizing the information, but you're not really applying it towards anything specific. But if you start applying it towards your dream in this case, where you're like, okay, at first I'm a little uncomfortable, but I just heard in this video or in general from other coaches that I just have to step through it. I have to understand that I can change that comfort zone. I can become comfortable taking action on my dream if I do it habitually. So you become comfortable over time. I understand now. So you see, I have this dream, so I'm going to take action on it and let nothing stop me any longer. Because I know now that it is in my control to overcome my old habitual way of living, also known as the comfort zone. Now, if you're new to this channel, consider subscribing to receive inspirational videos on a regular basis. And with that being said, dear viewer, never forget that we are the dreamers.